Welcome to Normal Baseball. Today we are continuing our top 10s for the 2023 MLB season. Today we are giving our top 10 right fielders. Let's get into it. What's going on? Welcome back to Normal Baseball. I'm Alex, Normal Dog. That's Lewis. And today we will begin giving our top 10 right fielders. I don't know why I said begin. We've been doing these top 10 lists for a little bit now. But we will be giving our top 10 right fielders heading into the 2023 MLB season. A lot of good right fielders out there. I feel like there will be a consensus number one. I think we will have a lot of the same guys on here, but I think we will have some different guys too. So, a lot of different routes you can go for this top 10, and we're gonna get into it. Do you have anything to say before we get started, Lewis?
I'm just excited. We're closing on the end of our top 10s. However, I think that this one is going to be one of the more entertaining ones because of how much star power there is.
I agree. There is a lot of star power. Towards the bottom of the list, I had a little trouble deciding who goes where, but overall, like you said, yeah, there's just a lot of talent in right field, no matter which way you look at it. So
for sure.
Yeah. So do you want to just get right into it?
Sure.
We're each going to be giving our individual lists and kind of comparing, see who we have where, why we have them there. You ready?
I'm ready.
Do you want to give your number 10 or do you want me to give my number 10? What should we do? You can go first.
Yeah, I'll start off here. So at my number 10 spot, I have from the New York Mets, Starling Marte. Definitely could have been higher had it not been for him missing a good amount of games, only playing 118 games last season. However, he is coming off an All-Star appearance. He really knows how to hit in the clutch, it felt like last season for the games that I went to and the games that I watched. He certainly came up in big moments and did not disappoint with what he was trying to do and what he was trying to accomplish. And of course, Starling Marte, one of those guys who has the speed and capability this upcoming season to steal a lot of bases. I'm hoping for 20 plus. Last season he stole 18. So I'm just going to say get 2 more, bare minimum. And I think we're going to be looking at a very, very good right fielder to start in right field for the New York Mets.
Yeah, I had Starling Marte at my number 6.
Okay.
I think 10 is way too low for him. Yeah, he missed some games. He still played 118. That's kind of like making that argument for Mike Trout in center. It just doesn't make much sense to me, just because he did play a very good amount of games. And he batted almost 300 in those games with an over 800 OPS. He played very, very good.
Yeah, he played very well
last season. I think 10 is kind of criminally low. Not a great defender. He had a negative 8.1 UZR, which is basically just a cumulative defensive stat that takes all defense numbers into account. So not a positive defender. The only thing I will say is that he did not have as nearly as many steals as I think a lot of Mets fans expected, or just everyone in general. He only had 18 steals last season. As opposed to 47 in 2021. So could you imagine this season that he just had with 47 steals instead of 18? That would be incredible. I think regardless, he deserves to be higher on this list. I would like you to kind of reiterate why you put him so low, because I don't feel like him playing 118 games really justifies him being that low on this list.
It was more of not because of his ability, it's more of because the other right fielders here, I knew that I had to put him somewhere, and as I went through this whole thing, I kind of just ended with Starling Marte in my 10 spot.
Okay. I mean, just because the question, when you broaden it out, is would Starling Marte be the 10th right fielder that you'd take on your team or for your team? And I feel like if you told me to pick a right fielder for my team, he wouldn't be the 10th guy I think of. That's just me though. So I think he is a little more valuable than maybe you think. I would like to see a little more speed next season. because, like I said, that 47 steals in 2021 going down to 18. Yes, he played less games, but like he wasn't getting a 47 even if he did play 162. So I'd like to see him use his speed a little more because we know he has it in him. Last season he was still 68th percentile in sprint speed, so he still has it in him. So I'd like to see him kind of utilize it more.
Yeah, for sure. Looking forward to his 2023 campaign.
Yeah, and not only that, but man batted 300 too. He batted 292, very close to 300. That's extreme value, right there in itself. So I had Starling Marte at my number 6.
All right. So then tell us who your number 10 is.
My number 10, I had a guy who had a little bit of a down year, Nicholas Castellanos. The man who hits home runs at the worst times possible. I still think he's got it in him. Yes, he hit 263 last season with an under 700 OPS, but I still think he has it in him to be a great player because you don't just go from batting 309 to batting 263 for no reason. I think it was just more of a down year type of thing. His power was down. He had 13 homers, 27 doubles. Just overall a really bad year for Castellanos in 2022, which is why I'm optimistic for him next season, and I still think he can be and will be a top 10 center fielder, top 10 right fielder in baseball. So I'm going Castellanos. I know his defense too was a not negative almost, definitely during the season, but he did improve upon it as the season went on, and even especially into the postseason, he was making a lot of plays because the Phillies kind of figured out where to play him so that he could play the best defense he possibly could. Yeah. Do you have Nick Castellanos on your list?
I do not have Nick Castellanos on my list for just the simple fact that he did have a very, very, very down year. I am hoping that he rebounds, but as of right this very second, I just don't think that he could fit onto my top 10 list, but I definitely could understand where you're coming from, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It was a little up in the air for me because it was between him and one other guy for my 10 spot. I don't know if you have that other guy on your list, but I mean, based on your list, you might have a lot better guys than me because if Starling Marte is your number 10, maybe I missed a few people. I don't think I did. So I am a little, interested to see how the rest of your list is. But Nick Castellanos comes in at my number 10 spot. Have a great year, Nick. I'm rooting for you.
All right.
Yep.
All right. So is that my turn to do the number 9?
Yeah, go for it. You're number 9.
All right. So at number 9, I have one that I feel as if that you might have left off this list just because of eligibility and stuff like that. I put Dalton Varsho. He did play 65 games in right field last year out of his 151, so not as many as I genuinely thought when I was making this list. However, he batted 235, he had a 745 OPS and a 109 OPS plus across 151 games, where he hit 27 homers. I mean, I know, are a very big Dalton Varsho believer as well. I just think that this upcoming season, with the protection that he has in the Blue Jays lineup, we're going to see his best season yet, and I think he's going to be very, very good this upcoming season.
He is penciled in at left field.
Yes.
I would like to tell you that.
I imagine that he's going to play more games in right, though. That is what
with Springer on that roster too. I don't know.
See.
Springer, I would rather him play center if anything, but they have Kevin Kiermaier, so they're going to be playing Kiermaier in center. It seems. I don't feel like they would play Springer in left. That just doesn't seem right, especially for a caliber player like Springer. I don't see them playing him in left. I don't see Varsho being in right too much this season. So
we'll have to find
that's
out.
why I left him off my list. I don't really see him as a right fielder.
All right, we'll have to find out, I guess.
So that's how I feel about it personally.
Yeah, but he's really good.
He is really good. I agree with that. He is really good.
Yeah.
I just didn't see him as a right fielder in my mind.
And you can't shy away from the fact he is a lefty batter. He was shifted against just over 50% of the time last season, and that did take away a good amount of his hits when you look at his spray chart. So hopefully now those outs turn into singles, turn into hopefully doubles even. who knows for sure, but it'll be a lot of fun to watch him play in the Blue Jays organization this year.
Yeah, that's fair. I can't really argue it because, yes, he is very good. I just didn't, like I said, I didn't see him as a right fielder. So I think that's fair.
Yeah, completely.
Do you want me to move to my number 9 now?
Please do.
So my number 9 on this list, a guy who I don't know if you had on your list. I think he definitely deserves to be on the lists. I have, from the Baltimore Orioles, Anthony Santander.
He is my number 8.
He's your number 8.
He is my number 8.
Yeah, I think this guy was a little underrated last season. Last year, he... Hold on one second. My apologies. He played in 152 games last season, batted .240, yes, but had a .773 OPS with 33 home runs and 24 doubles. So just those numbers you can't kind of deny. And then in terms of just how he hits the ball, he is all reds on his Savant page. You know, like he's got the exit velo. He hits the ball hard. He slugs. Barrel percentage, 82nd percentile. So he's really just a big plus with the bat. I don't think many people thought, hey, this guy's going to hit 30 home runs this season. Mm-hmm. I'd love to see him follow it up with another 30 home runs this season upcoming. He's not great in the actual field. Nothing kind of crazy defensively. But I think playing in Baltimore, just being the player he is, I think he can replicate having that kind of season again. And I'm excited to see if he does actually wind up replicating it.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see. I do agree with you that Anthony Santander flew under the radar. You also have to remember, switch hitter from the left side of the plate, he had an expected batting average of 297, nearly 300. I mean, the guy knew how to swing it. Again, another guy who suffered a lot from the shift rules last season. So I'm hoping that this upcoming season we're going to be talking about how the shift is benefiting him and he's getting more and more hits from it.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to see him play better. That's how I like to see every player play better.
Of course.
He kind of had a breakout year. It was his first full season. Before that, he had never played more than 110 games, and that was in 2021. So just breakout season, I'd like to see him continue, especially on this Orioles team that kind of has a lot to prove still. They're a young group of guys. They want to show people that they can stay in this league as true contenders, and I think he is a big part of that. So Anthony Santander.
Yeah, Anthony Santander.
So that was your number 8.
Yes.
Santander was your number 8.
He was.
So I'll tell you my number 8 now because I might as well. My number 8 is a guy who was traded this offseason. He was traded to the Los Angeles Angels. It is Hunter Renfroe.
He is my number 6, by the way.
He's your number 6. Okay. I love this guy.
It's hard not to love him.
He kind of goes under the radar, especially last season. I feel like he went under the radar in Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. Played 125 games, batted .255 with an .807 OPS. But he had 29 homers, 23 doubles, and he has a cannon of an arm out in right field. So I think taking all things into account, he is a very good all-around player. I'd honestly like to see him have more power next year on the Angels. Looks like Mike Trout. I did put that down because I think that's really important. I think that means he will play like Mike Trout next season, and he will win an MVP.
Oh, wow.
But I do think I really like Hunter Renfroe. Just a little undervalued sometimes. So I'm glad he's on the Angels now, a team that needs help, and I'm hoping he can help them.
All right. Yeah, I had him at my number 6 spot, Hunter Renfroe. He's been very consistent over the last 2 seasons. He's looked really, really good. And I think that he'll become a better hitter in Angel Stadium, which has been, I don't want to say, it's not as pitcher-friendly as some of the stadiums that he has played in previously. And it's just a guy that I think we're both just very high on. It's hard to deny that he's been good over the last 2-3 years. And I don't see any sign of him slowing down. I think that's the best way for me to sum it up.
That's fair. Big Hunter Renfroe guys here.
Big Hunter Renfroe guys. So he was my number 6. You said that he was your number 7.
He was my number. Yeah, no. He was my number 8.
He was your number 8.
Yeah. So have you said your 7 yet?
I have not.
So do you want to give us your number 7?
Yeah. So this one I think is the most controversial pick out of all of my top 10.
Oh boy.
At number 7, I have Kyle Tucker of the Houston Astros. Now, I will admit that it does seem low. However, when you do go and look at the numbers compared to his 2021 season, he did have a bit of a down year when it comes to his batting average and stuff like that. However, when you do look at the stats, he did get shifted against a bunch more. He had an OPS of 808 last year with an OPS plus of 128. Looked really solid. Struck out 95 times, took nearly 60 walks, finishing at 59. Still had 30 homers, and of course those RBIs, 107 in that Astros lineup. I feel like it's going to be more difficult for him to finish with under 100 RBIs than above it. So all in all, just really good hitter. I think he sees the ball really well, and I'm hoping that this season he finds more success at the plate.
So what's your reasoning for putting him this low? I mean, yes, he dropped in average, but still had 30 homers, 28 doubles, and 25 steals. I know you're a big guy on having steals and homers and doubles and 30-30. He almost had a 30-30-30 season with homers, steals, and doubles. I think that's a little low. I had Kyle Tucker at my number 4 spot.
Okay.
I had him a lot higher, which is where I personally do think he should be. Yes, I know his average went down, but he played 10 more games, yes, but that didn't really have much to do with it. His average went down. But his counting stats all went up except for his doubles and obviously hits. He had 9 less hits than last year. He had 9 less doubles than last year as well. I don't know. I think just overall he's still a really, really good player. He's a good defender, and he really has almost every tool you can ask for. So I think 7's pretty low. And
yeah, however,
like you said,
this
it
is
is
the list for going into the 2023 season.
Yeah, okay.
Where I project them to be when the 2023 season starts.
Let me ask you, why do you expect him to be bad next season?
I'm not expecting him to be bad. He's still 7th on my list.
Well,
but
why do you not expect him to be as good?
It's not so much, again, it's another one of the situations where it's not so much of he's going to be bad as much as it is the players in front of him are going to be better.
But you said it was controversial. I feel like going at it by that view isn't really that controversial. Controversial, I feel like, would more be like Kyle Tucker's not. You're kind of saying he's not as good as people think he is, right?
Essentially. However, I think he's good. Don't get me wrong. However, I just think the guys that I have in front of him are going to be better this season.
I respectfully disagree. Just because I don't know. I don't see it from like that way. I think he's going to continue to be as good as he's been. And I think some of the guys you might have in front of him aren't going to have as good of a year maybe as you think they might. But that's just matter of opinion there and point of view. So, okay. I have Kyle Tucker at my number 4. I think that's where he ranks on this list. I think that's a good spot for him.
Yep.
So then do you want me to tell you my number 7, which you have above Kyle Tucker, obviously. I know he's on your list. I know you love him. My number 7, I have Teoscar Hernandez of the Seattle Mariners. Got traded this offseason. And obviously he's been really good the last few years. Last season in 131 games, he batted .267 with an .807 OPS. Same as Kyle, one less than Kyle Tucker. He had 25 homers, 35 doubles, struck out 152 times. He didn't play great defense by any stretch of the imagination. We know he's not a great defender. That's why the Blue Jays traded him to the Mariners in the first place. They wanted better defense, and he doesn't really bring good defense. He also regressed a little bit last season. Last season was not nearly as good as his 2021 season when you look at in terms of, yes, average. He went from 296 to 267. The OPS was down as well. Not as many home runs as last year. He did have more doubles, but the home runs were down. RBIs were way down. He just didn't have as much offensive production as the year before, which I feel like is his main standing point is, hey, I can hit the ball. Yes, I'm not great in the outfield, but I can really, really hit the ball. And I think his offensive production being down last season didn't help. But I still think he is a very quality player who can very well be an all-star, all-MLB team player any season that he's out there. So, yeah, I do love Teoscar Hernandez. He kills lefties, too. He batted .286 against lefties last season with an almost 1 OPS.
All right.
So, yeah.
All right, he came in at your number 7, you said?
Yeah. I know he's going to be like your number 2.
Teoscar was not on my list.
Really?
Teoscar Hernandez was not on my list.
Can I ask why?
All the reasons that you stated before, that his offensive production fell off, and that was in a Blue Jays lineup that needed his bat more than the Seattle Mariners Seattle Mariners lineup needs his bat. Obviously, they still need him to produce. However, there's not as much pressure on him. I think that we will see him not perform as well as he did in 2021 or the first half of 2022, I believe, is where he did pretty well. I think that now being in the Mariners lineup, he is not going to be asked to to do as much offensively as the Blue Jays did. And it's that simple, in my opinion.
Okay, I'm pretty shocked. By the way, he played better in the second half of the year.
Yes, and it was the second half. My apologies.
But I'm a little surprised you didn't have him on here because I know you're a big
Teoscar
Mariners guy.
Big Mariners guy.
So I just think you have this supreme optimism for most Mariners players.
But he is taking away fielding innings from Jared Kelenic. So can't be that high on him.
Jared Kelenic's not going to be playing right field.
Yeah, because of Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah, but he's still going to be playing for them.
Yeah, but no fielding innings. How is he supposed to win the Gold and Platinum Glove?
Jared Kelenic's going to play left field, no? They currently have him penciled in at left field. I don't know who else they would have.
Fangraphs has them.
Yeah, but who else is playing left? Who's playing left field for the Seattle Mariners this season, then?
Let me pull it up, then.
Is it Dylan Moore or Sam Haggerty? Do you think they'd rather have them in?
I would have thought Sam Haggerty.
Or A.J. Pollock?
I would have thought it would have been Sam Haggerty or A.J. Pollock, yes, playing left field and Jared Kelenic DHing.
I don't think so.
Especially how he's doing in spring training this year.
I think Jared Kelenic he's 23. They're going to be playing him in the field this year. I disagree. I think he's definitely not. Teoscar's definitely not taking away fielding opportunity from Jared Kelenic.
All right.
I would very much disagree with that. But yeah, that's my thought. I'm surprised
not on my list.
Teoscar's not on your list. Interesting. So who haven't you said? I've done my 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So
I have also done the same.
Just to recap, my 10 has been 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Nick Castellanos at 10, Anthony Santander at 9, Hunter Renfroe at 8, Teoscar Hernandez at 7, and Starling Marte at 6 for me. Do you want to recap? And then Kyle Tucker at 4. But we haven't done 5 yet. So, do you want to recap yours so far?
Yeah, so far I have Starling Marte of the New York Mets at 10, 9, Dalton Varsho, newly acquired to the Toronto Blue Jays, 8, Anthony Santander of the Baltimore Orioles, 7, Kyle Tucker, 6, Hunter Renfroe.
Okay. So, now give your one ahead of me, so give me your 5.
All right, my number 5, this could get hot quick, is Mitch Haniger. Newly acquired to the San Francisco Giants.
No.
Yep, I think that he's going to be in for what I hope to be the best season of his career. Last season, only playing 57 games. He had a 246 average with a 736 OPS, but a 114 OPS plus. I think if he is given a full year with a new team within the Giants lineup, I think we're going to see one of his best seasons yet. I'm really looking forward to watching him play this season.
5. I so disagree. He didn't make my list. I'll just say that right now. 5? What brings you to say that from his career so far? 28. He hasn't been good since. He hasn't had a top 5 right field season since 2018, where he did have an 850 OPS, batted almost 300. But since then, I mean, he had almost 40 home runs in 2021. I'll give him that, 100%. But last season was not too healthy. I don't know. I didn't even have him on my list. I don't.
Yeah, it's fine.
Don't personally see him as going to be that good.
I am believing in him to have a very big bounce.
So you're basing this on pretty much all of how he'll play next year.
Yeah.
So Okay. I don't.
as I have been
I
this entire time with all my lists.
Yeah, I mean I take that into account in my lists, but I feel like you do also have to take in like recency and like how he's done in the past couple of years. Which 40 home runs, you can't deny it. 39 homers in 2021, but last season wasn't really on the field too much. Hopefully he can stay on the field.
Yep.
And I do agree if he does stay on the field, he is a top 10 right fielder. As long as he's still, playing good, because in 2021 he was definitely a top 10 right fielder. So
I understand that. Looking forward to watching Mitch Haniger play. I think
bold.
he'll be one of the comeback players of the year finalists towards the end of the season, if he is staying healthy, that is.
It's bold. You really based all your lists on your projections for them this season. That's interesting. I did not take that approach to really any of my lists. But there's the differentiation between me and you. So, my number 5, who I'm interested to see where you have him. My number 5 is Fernando Tatis Jr., a guy who will be playing right field this season. Is obviously not used to playing right field. He's playing right field because Xander Bogaerts was picked up by the Padres, and they were already shopping Tatis around in the outfield positions in 2021. So we'll see what happens there. He didn't play last year in 2022 because of an injury in the beginning of the season and then a PED suspension. He will be eligible to come back on April 20th of this season, so he'll be playing for most of the season.
Yep.
This guy's bat is dangerous. Need I remind you what he was able to do in 2021 in a full season of playing? Played 130 games. Keep that number in mind, 130. Not a full season, not 160, not 150. 42 home runs, batted .282 with a .975 OPS. Had 31 doubles in addition to that, and 25 stolen bases. This guy, when he is on the field and healthy, he is one of the most dangerous hitters in baseball. The only reason I had him lower on my list at 5 was because he has never played right field before. And the defense isn't there from what we've seen so far. He has not really proven himself as a good defender, really at any position so far in his career. And the only reason he is lower for me as well is because I was a little hesitant to put him higher since he hasn't played in a season. And we're seeing him in spring training, and he's kind of not getting off to a hot start. He's not just like picking up right where he left off. Granted, yes, it is spring training, but in 6 games, he has not got a hit. In 19 plate appearances, no hits. So he's just kind of not picking up right where he left off. He's not just becoming that guy again. But I have him at my number 5 just because of that potential. And I think, of course, a guy like that doesn't just fall off the face of the earth. So
yeah, for sure. I have Fernando Tatis Jr. at my number 3 spot. I was putting him higher just because, yes, you can say that maybe his defensive ability might not be as good as we want it to be. But like you said, there's no denying that offensive production. If he gets a full season, last time we saw him play 130 games, and he hit 42 bombs, where he had a, 975 OPS. Give him the extra 30 games, and let's see what numbers he can put up in a full healthy season. And I hope that he has one. I'm hoping, I think the big question mark is, will the defense derail his offense? I'm banking on no, and I'm saying no just because, like you said, there's no denying the talent. There's no shying away from it.
Yeah, it's just a lot of potential there, a lot of talent. And honestly, I think by the end of the season, if he does, like we said, pick up right where he left off in 2021 and just kind of go out there and have an amazing year, another 40 homer year, even more potentially, he could definitely rocket to number 2 or even possibly number 1, depending on how other people do.
We'll have to wait
this
and see.
season. We will have to wait and see. I'm interested to see what he does this season, coming back from a little hiatus. But yeah, that's Fernando Tatis Jr. I think I'm just mostly just excited to see him back on the field. He's one of the most electric players in baseball.
Oh yeah, for
there's
sure.
no denying that.
Nope.
Do you want to get to your number 4? What do you have left? 4, 2, 1?
4, 2, 1.
So I have 3, 2, 1 left. So like I said, my number 5 was Tatis, and my number 4 was Kyle Tucker.
All right.
So who is your number 4? Who's your number 4?
My number 4 is Ronald Acuna Jr.
Okay.
of the Atlanta Braves. It's year 2 after his ACL injury, where if you were at all following anything Braves last season, Acuna did not look like himself. He certainly needed the extra time to fully ramp back up, and the Braves decided to do that during the season and having him just start games over and over again. Obviously, with Michael Harris II playing center field, Acuna was moved over to right field, where he looked okay, but
better fit in right field.
Better fit in right field. But I am thinking that this season he's going to be completely healthy, and we are going to be talking about him being a contender for a 40-40 season. He just looked, so far in spring training, although the numbers might not be there, he just looks really, really healthy.
Spring training numbers don't matter.
Yes, the spring training numbers don't really matter, but he just does look really healthy. He looks fully ready to go, and I'm fully expecting to see another MVP type season out of Ronald Acuna Jr.
Yeah, I actually had Ronald Acuna Jr. at my number 3 for most of the same reasons. Yes, like you said, they moved him over to right field, which I think is a better fit for him. He doesn't play that great of defense based on just, reading the ball, but his arm strength is incredible. He throws the hardest. He can throw the most accurate. He throws the ball really well. He's got a cannon, so I think right field does fit him a lot better because he has to cover less ground. In addition to that, he came off a torn ACL in 2022, where he missed half of the 2021 season because of it. And I think just supreme optimism for him. Yes, a lot of people said that, hey, he underperformed last season. Even though he played 119 games. He still played a lot of games last season.
Yep.
But when you look at it, yes, he only hit 15 homers, 24 doubles, still had 30 steals, so the speed is still very much there. Just all numbers were down. He was coming off an injury. I think you have to give him the benefit of the doubt. I am not worried about him. I think he's going to have a great year, like you said. Give him a full healthy season. And he's just another guy with 40-40 potential, like you mentioned as well. I think there's even a shot we see a 40-40-40 season with doubles, homers, and steals. That is very possible. So I'm excited to see what he does for this Braves lineup in 2023 because the last full season we got of Acuna was something special. Mm-hmm. So give me another full season of Acuna and we'll be having a fun time. We will be having a fun time.
Oh,
so
yeah, for sure.
Ronald Acuna Jr. came in at my number 3 spot.
All right, and he was my number 4.
So who was your number 3?
My number 3 was Fernando Tatis Jr.
Right. So now we're both in our top 2.
Top 2s.
So 2 and 1. Can I make a prediction that I believe
they might be the same?
I believe is true. I think they are the exact same in the same order, and it's very fair.
Very consensus.
Yeah. So do we want to get into it? Do you want to say your number 2, or do you want to hold it and you can do the number 1?
I'll do number 2.
You want to do the number 2? Okay.
I will do number 2.
Go for it. Who was your number 2 right fielder in baseball for this season?
My number 2 in all of right field across the MLB is none other than Mookie Betts of the Los Angeles Dodgers. I mean, the dude put together a 6.4 WAR season. What?
Go on.
Yes, Mookie Betts. He put together a 6.4 WAR season, and just he looked really, really good in what people really didn't speak about him that much. He still was an all-star. He had a 269 batting average, 873 OPS with a 136 OPS plus. Just looked really solid. I want to see him match his homers from this last season. I want to see 35 homers again. However, we saw it all the way back in 2018, but I think that Mookie Betts is still in there going into his age 30 season. Let's see him bat over 300 again. I think Mookie Betts has the ability to do it. I'm just so looking forward to it. I think that Mookie Betts is going to be an absolute stud this season.
Yeah, I hit the audio and it didn't pick up on the Streamlabs, so let me just.
His name is Mookie Betts.
There we go. That's
There
what I
we
played
go.
before. So we were just sitting there in silence for a second. That's my bad.
That's awkward.
But yeah, like you said, Mookie Betts just an amazing player. There's no denying it. I'm also interested to see on this Dodgers team that got worse.
Yes.
He needs to kind of pick up more slack than the last couple of years. Obviously, last year he almost had a 40-40 season. Don't get me wrong. He was 5 homers away. Do I think he can do that again? Yes, of course. But now he needs to step up even more, having less weapons in his lineup. He can't just be like, oh, well, if I get out, they're still going to drive runs in. Do I think he was thinking that way? No. But I think now there is that added pressure of, listen, I need to be one of the guys to step up every single time I'm in the box.
Yeah.
And he still had an amazing year.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go on. Okay. So I did say he needs to hit better off righties this year because, like you said, you would like to see him get back to that 300 average that we know he has in him. I looked throughout his career and his splits against righties. So career, he has a 292 batting average against righties. But last season, he had a 255 batting average against righties. So I'd like to see him read the ball off righties a little bit more. Could that be because he went to the National League? It could be. There's a lot of good righties in the National League. We'll see. I like to just see him hit better off righties this season. And I think that's the way he's going to boost that average to 300. Or close to 300 once again. Because he's really, really good against lefties. He can improve on the righties. So, Mookie Betts.
Yeah, for sure.
Betts.
Mookie Betts coming in at 2 for you as well?
Yeah, came in at 2 for me.
All right.
Which I feel like was obvious because the number 1, we might as well just get into it here. The number 1 is the 2022 American League MVP. Last season, he broke the American League home run record that was held by Lou Gehrig with... What?
Lou Gehrig.
Oh, God. My bad. Sorry. With 62 home runs last season.
No. Whose record did he break?
He led the league in RBIs. He led MLB in WAR, on-base percentage, slugging, OPS, runs, total bases, home runs, offensive win percentage, and championship win probability added. It is the man who just signed a contract for 9 years, $360 million with the New York Yankees, Aaron Judge, at my number 1. I mean...
Whose record did he break?
It's kind of undeniable that he is the number 1.
Okay. Yeah. Now, can you tell me whose record he broke?
Maris.
First name?
Roger Maris. I'm not an idiot.
Just making
It
sure.
was a mistake in my speech, and I feel like you put too much emphasis on it because I was trying to emphasize the amazing accolades he had last season. You were focused on something else though, but amazing season. How could you have anyone else at first?
Oh yeah,
When
Aaron
you hit
Judge
60,
is also my number 1.
Yeah, when you hit 62 home runs in a season, it's undeniable.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, he led MLB in almost every offensive category. There was just a few that he didn't, but what a guy. And fantastic defense, I didn't even mention. He plays really good defense in right field.
Yeah, for never having a gold glove, he does play really, really good defense. I think that just is the sort of the backlash of being such an offensive first hitter and player in baseball is that no one really thinks about your glove. Definitely is one of, if not the greatest seasons that we've ever witnessed in baseball. His 2022 campaign nearly won the batting title. Shoulda, coulda, woulda type of thing for the American League. Led the league in OPS, as you mentioned, and OPS plus, having a 211 OPS plus was just absurd. 62 homers, just was the only reason why the Yankees did not sink late in the season. Let's not forget that. And just all in all, a season for the ages from Aaron Judge, and I think we're both hoping that he just builds upon it.
Yeah, I think I don't want to. It's hard to say he'll have a better season next year. I mean, I'm not going to be the one who's saying he can't. I'm not going to doubt him. I'm not going to say, listen, this guy can't hit 63 home runs. But I still think he'll have another amazing season. There's been nothing that's proven that when he's healthy for an entire season, he can't be that guy. He can't win MVP in a season. As long as he stays healthy, I think he's going to have another fantastic year. I'm so excited to watch Aaron Judge this season. Just everything included. It takes a specimen to beat Shohei Ohtani in the MVP race, and Aaron Judge was the guy who was able to do that last season. So I think there is something being said in that as well.
Yeah, and let's not forget that he also did play, I think it's 60 games. I think he played even in center field.
Yeah, he played a lot in center.
But mostly, I think everybody knows he is a right fielder, and there's no changing that about him. I'm looking forward to his 2023 season, and let's just say it. I'll do everything from 2022. One up him.
Let's see 63 homers.
Let's see 162.
All right, that's a little difficult.
That's a homer a game.
Yeah, that's a little ridiculous.
He does it in batting practice.
That's a little ridiculous.
Aaron Judge, the number one for both you and I.
Yeah, consensus. I feel like most people watching this, pretty much everyone, can't deny just how good this man is and just how good this man will continue to be, especially now that he's making a lot of money to do it.
Okay.
As opposed to a couple of years that he was kind of betting on himself. Possibly the best walk year ever of all time.
Could be.
62 home runs, and your walk year is it's a pretty good case.
Oh, yeah.
And then all that just to make the same amount per year as Daniel Jones. But I still can't believe that. I'm sorry. But yeah, Aaron Judge comes in at both of our number ones. Do we want to read off our lists one more time?
Yeah.
Just 10-1, just to recap a little bit, and then we'll get going here.
All right.
You want to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll go first. So, at my number 10 spot, I had Nick Castellanos. At my number 9 spot, I had Anthony Santander. At my number 8 spot, I had Hunter Renfroe. At my number 7 spot, I had Teoscar Hernandez. At my number 6 spot, I had Starling Marte. At my number 5 spot, Fernando Tatis Jr. At my number 4 spot, Kyle Tucker. At my number 3 spot, Ronald Acuna Jr. At my number 2 spot, Mookie Betts. And at my number 1 spot, the AL MVP, Aaron Judge.
All right. As for my list, I had at 10, Starling Marte. At number 9, Dalton Varsho. At number 8, Anthony Santander. Number 7, Kyle Tucker of the Houston Astros. 6, Hunter Renfroe. 5, Mitch Haniger. 4, Ronald Acuna Jr. 3, Fernando Tatis Jr. 2, Mookie Betts, and 1, Aaron Judge.
All right, let's clap it up for all the right fielders that made our lists and all the right fielders out there. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow the podcast if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, and share with your friends. We appreciate you, and we will see you guys in the next top 10 list. All right, peace.